passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. We are talking about post-grad life, and I have my lovely friend Cassie with me that I met through Group Me. We are both getting our master's degree in student affairs and higher education, and I'll let her introduce some more about herself, and then we're going to get into the topic of post-grad life tips and different tricks and things to think about if you are in that transition as a millennial. So yeah, welcome to introduce
Definitely.
yourself.
Well, thank you. As you stated earlier, hey y'all, what's up? My name is Cassie. It's interesting how you meet people through social media. You connect and you
Literally.
bond and you discuss these interesting topics, and you're like, wait, I thought that was only in my head. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, I had saw that you wanted to talk about post grad tips and the college life. I was like, yo, I want to be on this podcast. I want to be a part of this conversation. So here I am, trying to drop some nuggets I've learned along the ways. And shout out to us for graduating in May. Just want to plug that in there. I know we've been through some trenches these last 2 years in this master's program, but we're almost done. And
Yes,
I'm
I
excited for us.
literally cannot wait. But then it's like, oh my gosh, 40 hours, like full-time job type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, hopefully, like finding the right job.
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be another episode later. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you were open to discussing this with me because I was like, oh my gosh, I really, really want to talk about this. But I
Yep.
don't necessarily want to talk about it by myself and just like to have the conversation going and being able to like figure out everybody like other people's story or whatever. So if y'all want this to be like a series, this is the first one. Let me know if y'all want some more episodes. And I can do that for y'all. Some people I got like some good feedback. They're like, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, y'all, this is the only one, but
Right.
we can do some more if you want me to.
Definitely. I definitely think this is one of those topics where sometimes it requires multiple conversations, and I'm always down for multiple perspectives. So I encourage you to continue the conversation with your other friends after we're done.
Yes, I'm cracking up. So yeah, so I guess we can talk about I guess like the transition from
Mm-hmm.
like graduating to going to grad school. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess how was your journey and what I guess made you want to go to grad school and to where you're at now. We can start there.
Okay, cool, sure. So, I'm a first generation college student, and
Woo-woo.
so my family, we grew up in the struggle, but my mom, she made it work. My dad, he was there, kind of a little in and out, whatever. But
Not in and out.
so I'm the youngest of four, and I'm the first to receive my bachelor's, going to be the first to receive my master's, and so for me, college was like it was my way out, kind of more so to speak. I was just like, I just grew up them being like, hey, you go to college, you make a lot of money, you ain't got to struggle. And watching my mom struggle to provide for us, I was just like, okay, I need to go to college because I don't want to struggle like that, and I want to help her stop struggling. And so I ended up
Newsflash.
going to college, undergrad, 30 minutes away from my mom's house because I was like, I want to be grown, but not too grown. And I'm going to miss my family, so I could just drive home every weekend if I want to, from my res hall. And then when it was time to graduate college after being so involved, I had got my BA in teaching. And then once I got involved with student affairs and higher ed, and I was like, wait, I could teach outside of a classroom? They're like, yeah, that's student affairs. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I can help people personally and professionally. Sign me up for that. And so my mentors, they were like, you should go out of state. And I was just like, what? And it was like, don't apply for grad school inside of California. And I was just like, why not? They're like, it's only 2 years. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Try it. So literally, I covered my eyes and like literally picked 5 random states on the map. Texas ended up being one of them. And like, I just always heard about like how Houston was so lit and had a lot of Black people. And so I was just kind of like, what schools in Houston? And then like people at my school, like University of Houston, they have a great program. You should definitely check it out. And then so I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like, if I get homesick, I can drive down to my families that live in Dallas, a little bit. So it's like I'm grown, but I still have like a home base kind of more so next to me. And that transition, I remember leaving being so excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be grown for grad school. I'm out here. What? Can't nobody tell me nothing. And then I got there, and when I tell you, I flew home to California once a month because I was so homesick the first semester. Like, being separated from my family and friends, which I never experienced because undergrad, everything's 30, my home was 30 minutes away, to like now, 22-hour drive if I want to go back to California, or like a 3.5-hour flight. But it was really, really tough for me that first semester. And dealing with that, but then also like while I'm dealing with adjusting to a whole new city, a whole new institution, a whole new job, um my friends who didn't go off to grad school, I noticed that they were back at home kind of going through post grad depression. They were like, we're not doing anything. Like, I haven't got a job, I'm not working, like I have this degree but I'm working at Walmart, like I did not get a degree to work at Walmart. So it was just kind of like all of us were like in a funk, you know what I mean? For like,
You're like in between
yeah.
stage, so
And so
yeah.
they're like, you're fine, you're in grad school. I'm like, okay, but I'm still depressed, I still miss y'all. What is
Literally.
life like? I miss friends, come visit me, you know what I mean? And people can't buy plane tickets like that. It was just by the grace of God that I'm telling you, I was flying Spirit, which I'll never do again, but the tickets
Yeah,
was
I heard
mad
about this.
cheap. They was mad cheap, and it was helping me get home, so I was like, cool. But I challenged myself the second semester to like not go home as much, and I didn't. And I started meeting people on camp. Like, I literally had to force myself to go out of my room. And I think it's hard because people think that when you're in grad school, you're still in school, so it's no different. But it's like, no, you're literally working 9 to 5, and you have class like five
In
days.
the nighttime, yes,
Right.
that's literally what it is.
And so you don't really get that much interaction with students. You know what I mean? Like you
Mm-hmm.
did in undergrad. It's not like, oh, go to class in the morning and party all night or go to programs all night. It's not like that. Like, you really feel this, I'm kind of old. I'm old difference. Everyone's like, come to this event. And I'm like, I actually got class. Or come to this, I got work. And it's like, well, I work here, so I really can't go to that with you. Like, you're a student. Like, you know what I mean? So that has shifted to like, um, the responsibility layers and barriers placed upon me. I was just like, this is a lot. I miss being an undergrad. I miss
Right.
being able to do whatever I want.
Right.
It
Isn't
just,
that so crazy though? Like to think about it, like how we are getting our master's in student affairs, and it's like we're supposed to be working with students, but y'all have us have classes at nighttime when we should be trying to do stuff with students
with the students,
in the
yeah.
events. Like that's kind of confusing too. But that's a whole nother story. Grad school
Yes.
and like degrees or like whatever you think about what you should go into. That's a whole nother episode that can be. But yeah, I feel you on that too, which I didn't go out of state for my degree, which people were like, you should go out of state, you should go out of state. Well, I didn't kind of know who was paying these out of state fees. Okay. So I was like,
Girl.
I'm going to stay in state because, like, no, ma'am, I don't got time. I'm going to be in debt. But sadly, the place I came to is not even no better, and I got played every single time I've been here. And so I was supposed to have an assistantship in housing, and I didn't get it. Cuts, funding cuts and whatever. So I just like paid my way through. But when I tell you I'm ready to get up and out of here, I'm ready to get up and out of here. And so that's why I want to have the conversation of like post grad, like going to grad school. If you don't need to go to grad school, you should go to grad school. Which like you in undergrad, I was really involved. Like I was like an RA, I was
Yeah.
in like student involvement.
Yeah.
I was, in the culture, I was doing all that stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I heard about it at the conference and things like that, which I didn't know what it was gonna be like when I got into this degree
Yeah.
program. But yeah, like I like that stuff. I like going to programs and events and things like that. And so when you think about post grad life, it's still like, dang, think about if I didn't go to grad school. Like some of my friends like take a break, some of them they take a break, some of them are still living their lives and stuff like that. But I'm like, dang, I feel like if I even didn't go to grad school, I could still get a job in student affairs. And then thinking about
Yeah.
getting a job and thinking about post grad life as like, oh, you need all this experience and stuff like that. And it's like, well, dang, I didn't get no experience in undergrad because I was too busy going to events and having
Yeah.
fun. And like, I didn't do internships. I didn't have to do that stuff to graduate in a sense. So I think that is one thing that I feel like I should do in undergrad was more
Internship.
internships, or if they would have
Yeah.
had you do some, because then you could be like, oh, okay, I can see if I like this, I can see if I like to do this and different things like that, and that would have helped me post grad, because then I'm like, okay, I don't have to go straight to grad school. Like I really
Yeah.
think I should have waited to go to grad school to be like, okay, this is what I really want to do. Like I was so
Yeah.
nervous that I just applied to grad school because I didn't know what I was going to do after I
Yeah, I see
graduate.
what you're
It's like
saying.
people are like, oh my goodness, like, well, go to grad school, get your master's degree, get your PhD, keep going
Yeah.
this, and it's like, well, y'all keep putting this loans on me and these taxes on me,
Right?
and I don't even have no money.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I don't want to struggle, but I'm gonna struggle regardless if I don't got a
Yeah.
job or if I do get a job because I gotta pay all this debt back. So I think it's a fear thing, and I guess I don't want people to fear no more. Like, don't fear if you don't go to grad school
Yeah.
straight through because it's like it's okay to like just find a job. They were just
Take a
like,
break.
yeah, you
Hmm.
won't get a job, and like now that's all we know. Like all we know in school, and so now we're going to a 40-hour work
Right?
hour week, and I'm just like, oh, I know I'm about to be exhausted. I know it's about to change things,
Hmm.
and they're gonna expect so much of you when you've never worked 40 hours.
Yeah, I think it's
And
like it's definitely a big change because you know you've been in school all your life. So like if nothing's been consistent, it's been
it's been
school.
school literally,
So when you
and that's
stop going to school, like even my friends are telling me like that have received their master's degree and they're like, Cass, honestly, I'll let you know, like your first year, you're gonna feel like, damn, I don't have no homework, I don't have no papers for it, like I don't have no assignments. You're gonna feel like you're saying you want that freedom now, and they're like, it's nice, but it just feels weird because you that was the one thing that was like always consistent in your life. And
mm-hmm.
like, so I'm like scared and excited at the same time, but I'm like, I know I'm gonna go back for my PhD, so I know I'll eventually have school again. But
Oh no, that's dead.
yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it for sure. Something that you had mentioned earlier was just like, like not rushing into the process and you being scared and you being nervous. I think something that I really, really hate, and I don't know if we'll ever get rid of it, but it's this idea of people. I hear my nephew knocking on my door. He wants to join the podcast, but it's this idea of where people they feel for some reason that when it's your last year of college, so what are you going to do next? That's the most stressful question I feel like you
mm-hmm.
can ask a college grad, because some of them feel like, damn, if I don't say I'm going to go to grad school, you're going to think less of me. Other, I'm like, if I don't say something, you're going to think less of me. When the truth is, we don't know what we're going to do next because
Mm-hmm.
we just spent the last 4 to 5 years really focusing on just obtaining a piece of paper. Like they didn't really tell us like, hey, obtain this piece of paper, and while you're obtaining this, here's what you need to be doing to get a job in this field. They're like,
Yes,
schools really, they don't prep you for post grad at all.
at
they just
all,
they just tell
girl.
you like, hey, here's what you need to get this little piece of paper. That's
Yes, and
it.
yes, and
They
I
don't prep
think
you at all.
And I think that's crazy because it's like, oh yeah, you talk to your academic coaches like 2 times per semester. Honestly, I don't need an academic coach. I need a career coach all 4 years because
Right.
I need the career coach to be helping me with my resume freshman year. I need the
Mm-hmm.
career coach to be telling me what internships I need to do. This like, yes, academic counselors woulda woulda because they be telling you what classes you need to take. Well, I need to worry about what I'm going to get when I get done with this because I had this degree and then I can't even try to get a job because they be like, you need 4 or 5 years of experience. Well, I mean, dang, I'm 23. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how much you expect me to do.
Right, right. You
So
want me
like.
to have 12 years of experience, and I'm like, what do you mean? No one's gonna hire me. Like that part too is like you need all this experience, but
Mhm.
no one wants to be your entry point for that experience.
Yes, and that's crazy too because I'm like, y'all want all this experience. So I think sometimes experience trumps education, and that's
Mm-hmm.
rude. And I use the word trump, but that's rude because I'm doing all this education so I can get into this debt to get this job, and I can't even get no job. And so now when people ask me like, what you doing after whatever, I be darn, I'm saying I don't know. I'm gonna find a job. I'm not saying I'm gonna get
Yeah,
a PhD because that is just not in me at all to try to figure out to get a
yeah,
PhD, to try
yeah.
to fight a dissertation, to talk, and I can't even talk for more than five
Right.
minutes and to be doing all this research. That just don't. I didn't even want to get a master's degree, honestly,
Right, right.
but a
But you
PhD.
knew, yeah, that you'd get a job with that more than you would get one. I feel like, because like it's weird, because I feel like once I got my BA, I felt like I would have been able to get a job because I networked very well. But
Mm-hmm.
I know your average person wouldn't. But I feel like once I get my master's, I don't know why I feel like even more confident than I did of my BA getting a job. But here's you said that experience trumps academics. I feel like networking trumps experience, because I know a
That's
lot
true.
of people who are in very high professional roles and they don't have slight the slightest amount of experience or knowledge on a subject. They just knew someone who knew someone who knew someone. You know what I mean? And it's like
Mm-hmm.
if
I
you're
definitely. I
introvert,
definitely agree.
like if you're introvert or you weren't that much involved, that sucks. You know what I mean? Because someone's like, "Yo, let's hook up the homie," and I'm not saying you shouldn't hook up your friend. I'm just saying it's tough when you're not that person who's good at networking and you miss out on this opportunity. You have all the qualifications, but someone just decided to hire their friend instead,
because
and
they don't know you.
yeah, and it's like that's the world we live in. Like, I feel like networking trumps everything. I mean, we need to
That
stop
I
saying. We need to find a new word
Yeah, I
for
know, right? I think
it.
networking does, networking does have a higher classification. We can use something like that. It's
Right.
more higher, because
Right.
in a sense, like I was telling my professor, like, oh, I'm trying to apply to this job right here. He's like, oh, well, I know that person over there. I can get you connected. Well, most definitely get me connected, get me an interview because I need my coin. But also, when you were speaking of that networking, that's the key thing that I did in undergrad. Like that's why I wish I would have went to like my undergrad for my grad school because I literally networked with everybody. I knew everybody, so I could be able to like, oh, I could go to this office, or I could go here, I could go here, I could do this. Like even when I go back, I can still talk to them because I was so involved in the sense. But also, that's just my personality. But
Mm-hmm.
they don't teach you that either. So there's nothing like a networking 101. There's like maybe a
Yeah.
networking event to go to try to get internships, but there's no teaching like how to network, who to connect with, who to talk to, who to do things like that. And it's true that we are painting these people at these colleges
Mm-hmm.
so that they should be helping us more and be helping us set ourselves up for success. I even told my professor honestly, like this program is not helping me for student to work with students. It's not
Mm-hmm.
helping me. It's not teaching me to work with students. This program is teaching me I guess, the higher education of whatever's going on, whatever they think is important. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I don't have no practicum. I don't have like I have internship. I feel like internships and practicums are different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this isn't a practicum. I'm not practicing with these students. I'm finding something, trying to do something to graduate. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really learning anything in these classes that I feel like I didn't already know,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
it could be different to some people. So I think
Yeah.
that's another thing too, is like really think about where you want to go to school, what you want to do, and
Yeah.
think about like, are these classes going to help me? I guess look at it. I guess you really don't know until you get to that place, which was me.
Yeah.
And also, I
I feel
learned
like in
like,
higher ed, long as you know a couple of theories,
and girl, I ain't even learned the theories yet. I'm learning the theories this semester. So,
they're interesting. They're very intriguing. I will not lie to you. Student development theories, that was my favorite course thus
oh yeah, I'm
far.
taking that course this
Definitely my
semester.
favorite course. I definitely feel like it's a lot, and I feel like you're not really, like I said, you're not really prepped for post grad. You know what I mean? Like college doesn't prepare you for that, or
Mm-mm.
sometimes even I feel like in our program, kind of like based off what you said, it kind of just sounds like we're learning about what higher education is. We're
Mm-hmm.
not
And not how
necessarily
to.
learning how to serve students. We're just learning
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, here's why your institution may lack funding, or here's why this is how your institution may develop its mission and its goals, ACPA competencies, like all
Yeah.
that. But you're not
And
really
shoot, I
learning
might not even
about.
go to ACPA a day in my life. Well, how's this gonna help me? ACPA and NASPA are too expensive.
Yeah.
Anybody want to help us out? Y'all can cash up us for TPE.
No, right? Seriously. What I will say is like from this whole of this me having to force myself to go out and learn what I want to learn. Um, my program director, one thing that I really like about my program is that they're very good at being like, here's where this competency area falls under, like, here's the
Mm.
portions of it, and here's how it'll show up in your job. I really like that's something that they stress at my program at UH, is trying to teach you how it'll end up being in your job once you do apply. And I feel like, my faculty really care about us. We're a small little cohort, maybe 10 of us, or whatever the case may be. I know some people who have 30 people in their cohort. I feel like the smaller the cohort, the better, kind of. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And so I feel like, dang, it's like it really depends on what institution that you end up going to. And it
Almost
sucks because
definitely.
when you're interviewing, you're visiting the institution, everybody puts on there like their best face. So you think you're signing up for something really great, and then some people unfortunately sign up for really crappy programs and
Mm-hmm.
they can't get out of them, or they do and they hate they lose out on a lot of money. So it's like you never really know what you're going to get and stuff. So it's like, but no one's teaching you to do this kind of research when you're applying
Literally, that's what I was gonna
necessarily.
say. Right? I wish I didn't even know University of Houston didn't even have one, and that's one thing too. I think that I lack. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? And so I was like, okay, I know this place is close. This is where I'm gonna go. But honestly, knowing like how many schools had this program would have like helped me look
Mhm.
better, or like would have helped me like been more informed. I'm just like looking at stuff that's like around here. What I was saying, like Ohio, this I would have never thought about Texas, which I don't even think I would have never thought about California. I would have never thought about Florida. Like I just never thought about those places to go to a
Mhm.
school. Well, one, because I said I want to in-state tuition, but second, like I
Right.
just didn't even know because I was like, okay, these are the schools that people say that they go to. Like, well, I'm at WKU, so Western Kentucky University, or like
Mhm.
University of Louisville, where I went, or like they like Miami, Ohio, and so, like those are the ones that I knew. I didn't even know
Mhm.
like people was at Rutgers, people was in Florida, people was in New York. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know about all those things, and so that could be something that I like. In a sense, I might have waited too late. Like I waited like my semester before I graduated to do it. But I guess that would
Yeah.
be another one too. Is like research and then like
Mhm.
knowing who you are. And I guess you might not learn that till you move somewhere. But like I
Mhm.
know now that I can't do small cities. Like small cities are not for me at all. Never
Yeah.
thought small cities
Yeah.
was for me in a sense, but
Yeah.
like I really can't do those things. So now when I'm going into my job search, I'm like, oh nope, can't do a small city. Oh, never heard of that city before. Ooh, don't need to go there. Like so, I think that's another thing too. Think about.
I have literally canceled the entire state of New York.
Oh, okay, New York is not small, but
I know it's
understandable.
not, but the
It's
reason
cold,
why I canceled is because it's cold. I literally went out
freezing.
there and visited my friend in December, and I saw that snow, and I was like, I couldn't live in this. And it's because California, it's sunny, beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's where I'm trying to go.
And it was completely different for me. So like Texas is a little humid, a little hot in the summer. Texas, you can get rain and sun all in the same day. Like its weather is all over the place. It's a really big state, but that's what I'm saying. Like now, when I am applying for jobs, I'm very like people are like, don't let the weather deter. No, like
Hmm?
honestly, gloomy
No.
weather makes me sad. I don't want to live anywhere where it's gloomy all the time. Like you know what I mean? Like I really
Mhm.
little factors like that you don't factor in. Like all my favorite restaurants that I miss in California, I come out here and be like, you guys have it? They're like, what the heck is that? Now, I'm
Mhm.
not saying if it not every state or every school is gonna have everything you want, but
Mhm.
definitely it's
But
very
if they're
important to know
big,
those things
yeah. Mhm.
you don't want to give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I had to
the
do that.
non-negotiables.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did my non-negotiables in December. Whatever. Like, what do I need? I need a city. I need an airport in the city that I'm living in. Oh, airport is really big for me.
Right.
And so, yeah, like you're saying, like now it's raining stuff like that. I don't got time for rain. I don't really like showers too much. I'm like, I'm trying to go to California. I'm trying to go to Florida, but then I'm like, ooh, I can't really do world. I don't really know about these disasters and stuff like that. So I'll be
Right,
thinking
huh?
about that too.
That's
But yeah, I
funny.
definitely think that's true. But I feel like after you graduate, if you feel like you need to go like take a trip, you need to go like somewhere for a couple months to figure out what you want to do, just settle down and think about stuff. I think that should be a like you should be able to do that too, which you can't do it in when you're about to graduate because people are like, what are you about to do? What are you about to do? Whatever. Like, I
Mhm.
need to take some time to myself. I need to figure out what I want to do because a degree is only going to take you so far, and
Yeah.
that's like on a piece of paper. It's like you have a bachelor's, you have a bachelor's in science, you have a bachelor's in arts. Like that's only going to take you so far. But if you don't build up those experiences that you have, then it's not going to help you. And
Yeah.
so I think personally, I feel like if I knew so like much more, I'm like, dang, I would have waited. Which I was
Mhm.
gonna try to like take a break or whatever. They was like, well, what's the break? I'm like, girl, I don't know. And if I transferred, they was gonna try to give me an extra year for some classes, and I was like, heck no, I'm about
Yeah.
to just get this and keep it moving
Yeah.
with what I'm about to do. So I think like I think they should have more like conversations about post grad life and like figure out what you're doing because you're talking about like some people do get post grad depression because it's like, oh my gosh, I just got a degree, I need to be making $50,000 a year, which sis, that ain't gonna happen because people barely with master's degree make that. And so like people will know what to do or
Mhm.
like something to help the people
Them.
who are in school right now know like you need to be doing
Yeah.
internships, you need to be
Yeah.
volunteering, which I volunteer and stuff like that, but like you need to be out there talking to people. If you want to own your own business, like you need to figure out who is this and who is that, just so like you can set yourself up more
Mhm.
than like
I think
us looking
definitely
crazy.
one of the things that I do notice is being post grad kind of still in grad school. I just feel like I'm just post grad. Um you we don't this is like the first season where like I'm really alone. Like I've literally like I've had no distractions, like no friends, no family, no like I can't fill my time with anything distracting me, like because I was isolated in Houston, you know what I mean? Versus everything I know is back
Same.
in Cali. So for me, this was the first time that I really had to like look at myself in the mirror, or certain things that I try to hide and stuff to the back of my mind and neglect, like by hanging out with friends. I couldn't. Like, I'd literally be sitting in my apartment and be like, Cass, so when are you going to address this aspect of your persona that you know you don't really like? Or like, when are you going to do X, Y, and Z? Like, I literally had to confront myself. And honestly, it's creepy, but I'm so comfortable with being alone now. It's
Yo,
so
me
scary. Like, I
too.
never thought like I
Mhm.
always wanted to be around someone, but now I could sit in
Me
my
too.
room in my apartment for days. I could watch movies, drink my wine, whatever the case may be, for
Yo,
days
that
on
sounds
end,
like me
and
so
I'll be
much.
okay. And I think that's what a lot of those people who are going through post grad, some of them are experiencing. Like, this is the first time they're being like, they're confronting
Alone.
themselves, they're dealing with themselves. Your first time being alone. That's so tough when you haven't had to do it for 20 something years. You know what I mean?
Yo, yes, I think
It's
that is
so
too.
tough.
Like grad school could be isolated. I think that's a whole nother topic conversation. How
It definitely
isolating
isolates you.
grad school it could be. And I really
Post
had
grad
a
period
well,
isolating,
yeah,
because like once you graduate, you don't see all those people that you're forced to see every day because you got class or you got work on
true.
campus.
I see
Like,
what
no,
you're
like
saying.
you're literally by yourself. Like, literally the only people that you will naturally usually see is your coworkers if you have a job. But if you don't have a job, you're literally at
If
your
you have a
house.
job.
Like your definition of going outside is getting on Twitter or Instagram. And I think
hmm
that's why, like, my family now, when I visit them, my friends, they'll be like, you're always on your phone, but you never want to go nowhere sometimes. And I'm just kind of like, honestly, y'all, like, this is going outside for me. Like, I've gotten so used to being home. So
hmm
it has its ups and
Well, I'm like, do
downs.
you think that? But do you think? Yeah, I was like, do you think that's good? Like, you're so not invested in, but you're so intrigued in your phone, something like that. It's like this is better than going outside because, like, I get my life, like, I get my everything
I
from
think
going on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that.
so. Lately, what I've been trying to do, I don't think it's great. I feel like if I find a better balance, which I've been seeking to do, because I don't want to just be my hands stuck to my phone, like glued to it all the time. So for me, looking for ways to, like, I'll take myself to the movies, like, I'll take myself to get my nails done, and I'll be like, my mom will call me, she'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm taking myself on a date today, I'm gonna treat myself to movies and nails. And she'll be like, okay. Or like my brother, when I told him, I was just like, I'm gonna go see this movie by myself, and he was like, wow, is your love life that sad? Have you really hit rock bottom? And I'm like, no, like, I just want to treat myself. So kind of like
hmm
what I really want to do is, like, it's okay that I'm comfortable being by myself. For
Yeah.
me now, I'm just trying to challenge myself to be okay with being by myself outside. But it's tough as a woman, as a Black woman, because it's like we live in a world where people don't care about us. So for me,
Mm-mm.
I'm like, okay, I need to have my pepper spray. I need to always have my keys ready when I'm getting in and out of my car. You know what I mean? So it's
Amen.
tough of like, dang, I want to go out by myself, but I got to be careful at the same time because somebody might try to kidnap me, and
Right.
I don't know how to, I don't know karate, like, you know what I mean? So like, just kind of navigating all those intersectionalities, all those factors that play into being alone and being happy and traveling. Like, I know this there's this one travel guru. She's always talking about how, like, she goes to like different countries, continents, all by herself, but she like explains how she maps it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I could do that because somebody might try to kidnap me and send me into sex trafficking. My family will never know. Like, you know what I mean? So
I'm
it's just kind of
crying.
like, it's so much to try to go out by yourself, but a
Yeah.
lot of people
I
haven't met themselves yet.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
guess
what's sad.
I'm not that scared no more. Like I used to like go out to eat by myself. I really haven't wanted to go to movies by myself because people be crazy up at the movie theater and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that mine was so hard as a transition because it's like in undergrad I was like so like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm with this person, I'm with this person. So then when I came here, like I didn't get that same feeling from the campus. I feel like working and going to school where you are, that's a big thing too. In the city, that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. It goes together. I feel like being isolated. I use grad school because that's what I was in because like I came here, didn't know nobody, like nobody, and then like started my program and like still not knowing nobody, but knowing some people and like some people like went here for undergrad, so they know people and stuff like that. And then like just coming to a new city, starting grad school, it's like so isolated, and then like your friends might not understand because they're doing something there, like they went to another school or they're like just living their life because that's what they're doing. Like if they didn't go to grad school, I think that was really important. And then like you can't talk to your parents about it because like clearly they don't know. Like I mean, I'm not a first generation like college student, but like my parents, like they worked and went to school and stuff like that. So they're just like, well, you
Mhm.
gotta do what you gotta do type thing. And so
Yeah.
like I and like you can have brothers, you can have family, but like if nobody really knows what you go through and you can't talk to them, I feel like
Mhm.
that's where it was really hard. And so I don't really have a problem being with myself. Like I love being with myself. I feel like I turned to YouTube and I would just like always watch YouTube and stuff like that, which was cool
Mhm.
and all. And then I was like, okay, like I could read books or something like that. I really rarely watch TV or whatever. But then like that's when I got into like writing and I just started like writing and that's like what filled my time up. So like I wrote a lot
Mhm.
like blogging and stuff like that, like books
Yes,
and things
same.
like that. So yeah, I like noticed that I wrote a lot. And then that's when I noticed that like, oh my gosh, I have like an actual passion for writing. Like when I became so isolated, like I was so bored, like I didn't know what to do, I turned to writing. And that's when I was like, okay, like I know I love to write. Like that's something that I want to do. So then I just like started writing all these things and then like it picked up over time and then I like took a class for writing and things like that. So I think that that was a cool thing, like being so
Mhm.
isolated, like it's going back to what I love to do. And I know I love to write. I know I love to be creative in a sense. So I think that was cool. But I think grad school can be so isolating and it's like okay but I like myself, I know who I am. I don't know if I ever wanted to confront anything about me because I'm just like I'm me and that's what's gonna be like. I just don't do nothing like that, but I just think that it's interesting to see like how you can know yourself and who you are and how they be saying like well if you don't even be with yourself then who will want to be with you and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
get that's like to a certain extent, but I think like knowing yourself or being able to be around yourself and like enjoying your company, I think I've learned that like within the last like couple of years. I guess it's 2019 yet, so like latter 2017 to 2018, like I've learned that because I was by myself like a whole bunch. So like even when I did an internship, I was in like St. Louis, I was by myself. I like talk to people and stuff like that, but I was still like basically by myself with like no friends where I'm at and things like that. And so it's like, okay, well I know I'm a fun person. Like I know I like to do things. And again, I don't like to do things by myself. So I
Yeah.
think that's annoying, but I still do things by myself. If that makes sense, because like you can't wait for people. It's like the travel thing. I travel by myself and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't know if I'll be going to a whole other country, mapping it out. So it's that sounds a little scary, but yeah, I think that if you do find that time to like be alone to like get to know yourself, unless you've already done it,
Yeah.
then I guess you might not need to do it. But I think it happens like in a point of like everybody's life. How you said if it's post grad in general, you didn't go to
Mhm.
grad school. I feel like that time or whatever you
Mhm.
learn
Mhm.
more about yourself is still good.
To know, like, yeah,
Yeah, for
that
you.
isolation season, I promise you, like, honestly, it was tough, but when I tell you it was the most beautiful piece of like growth and transformation that I have ever experienced. I love it. Now I think it's actually made me a lot more braver because now I'm always just like, let me go move somewhere else again that ain't nobody at. Like what I can
Yeah.
learn in that area. You know what I mean? Kind of like it's like scary, but it's like I don't know. It's like I feel like I take them. I was sharing my friend. I was just like, I step into these unfamiliar places, and then I turn them into like fun little pit stops on my journey of life. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so I definitely think it's essential. But like one thing that I felt like people um that I wanted to share with people about like post grad tips because like self care. I feel like people say, "Oh, self care," and they look at that as like, "Oh, it's me going to the spa. It's me getting my nails done." Like self care is way more than just buying yourself something. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's treat yourself definitely all day long if you have the means for sure. But it's like self care to me. That's like being honest with your feelings. If you're lonely, let it be known that you lonely. If you hurt, let it be known that you hurt. Or even if you don't feel like you want to tell anybody else, be honest with yourself that you're hurt. You know, like we try to suppress our feelings and we suppress our emotions, and we can only suppress so much. So just like my therapist, I encourage therapy, y'all, for real. Anybody, if you need to go and get it, she always tells me like Cass, like when I had first started going to her, she was just like, if you don't allow yourself to feel sadness, you'll never truly feel happiness. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
sad, I'm people, how are you? I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on who you are, I'll tell you why. Because you know, some people just want to know your business. Other people genuinely care. But it's just like, I'm sad right now. How you doing good? Nope, not at all. I honestly just feel like punching somebody, but I can't. But like just being 100%
Like being your
honest about my
authentic self.
feelings, so I
Feel
can
that.
feel that 100% happiness when I am happy in a moment. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy right now. And then also don't compare your journey. I feel like we are the most comparative generation I have ever seen. Like, you see somebody post like their relationship on Instagram or Twitter, or like, they just got a new car, they just got a new job, they just got accepted to something, they just got a scholarship or certificate, whatever the case may be. You gotta learn to be happy for people. Like, if you see somebody get something good or whatever, and instead of feeling like, oh, congratulations, you feel like less than, that there's a problem. Something needs to be uprooted and replanted, and we need to do some work, because you should be able to be at the point where you're like, oh, I'm so happy for you, while you're waiting on your own blessing. You know what I mean? Like, don't let someone else's blessings make you forget that you have your own blessings. You know what I mean? And I feel like social media makes us compare so much. Well, I feel like it could be toxic at times if you allow it to be the determining factor of your life. Like, oh, she's 25, she got a whole ass family and I don't. How you know she not struggling with her whole, like, she posted a beautiful photo, but she probably couldn't buy the baby some diapers. You never know. Like, you know what I
I'm
mean? Like,
cracking up.
you don't know. So I feel like that whole comparison thing in our
Mm-hmm.
generation is killer, especially in post grad. If you feel like, dang, they're doing something after
Oh,
graduation and I'm not doing anything.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. In 2017, I think I was like, okay, this is a comparison thing. This is doing too much. Oh yeah, 2017. I think I took a break from social media,
Mm-hmm.
and then I like started listening to podcasts and things like that. And so
Mm.
after I took a break from social media or whatever, then I was like, I love Instagram. But then I just like went through it. I just like unfollowed everybody. I guess it was like comparing, like, oh my gosh, they're doing this, like I can't do this. Like I just like unfollow people. So sometimes I feel like you have to unfollow people that you feel like you compare to, and maybe follow people that you're inspired by. And so when you look at it
Mm-hmm.
like that, like, oh, I'm inspired by them. Like this is so cool. Like this is what I want to do one day. Like
Yeah.
I just seen a picture. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to do this one day. So I'm gonna keep it. So I think sometimes like think about not comparing it but being inspired by it. But now I
Yeah.
think I use Instagram as like a form of entertainment. Like I just laugh and keep it moving. Like I don't think so much about like people
Mm-hmm.
posting things. I'm like, okay, double tap. But I usually more for like funny things. Like Twitter is like
Yeah.
funny. Like so
Yeah.
now I feel like people are telling people not to compare themselves and stuff like that. So now people want to use it
Mm-hmm.
more for just like entertainment, to have
Yeah.
fun, and not to think so much about like this is just like literally social media is just like a
Mm-hmm.
way to just connect and have fun, like how we connect. Like it's just a way to connect and have fun. It's
Yeah.
not really a way for you to like want to feel so down about yourself
Yeah.
and
Like,
that you like
who
don't
signs up for
do
these
anything.
apps to get
Mhm.
on to be sad? You can be
Yes.
sad without the app. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of this podcast that I used to always listen to. It's called the Friend Zone podcast.
Oh
And
yeah, I've heard that one.
this girl, Hey Friend, Hey, she was just like, I will never forget when she said, your offline health matters more than your online appearance. And
Mm.
honestly, like, I think it was my first semester of grad school. Um, I had did like a little social media fast. Like, I
Yes.
wasn't on social media for 3 months.
Oh,
And like,
three
I remember my
months.
friends would be like, "Oh, I DM'd you. Oh, I sent you this. Did you see this? Have you seen it?" Like, I was like out of the loop on trending topics. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh yes,
But
that's
like,
me. That's me with social media.
by not knowing what was going on, I was able to process more, with my homesickness, more to confront myself. You know what I mean? But had I had to go through all that with the comparisons of social media, I probably would
Mhm.
have been even more in shambles. Like, dang, these other people graduated, they're enjoying their grad program. I'm miserable over here, like, or whatever. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. But like, going on that social media fast, it also showed me how like sucked into it me and my friends were, because it got to the points to where like my friends would just start texting me the links to go
Yes.
see that specific tweet or that specific Instagram. Because I was like, y'all, I'm not on here. I was like, I catch you. I had stopped. I had logged off like at the end of August, and I was like, yo, December, I got y'all. I'll be back. Like, and when I came back to so many messages, friend requests, so many, and like when I respond to them, I was like, hey, sorry, I was on a social media pass, and people were like, it's too late now. All right, like what else? Like, people was like over
Mhm.
my case, but I was just like, social media plays a big role in people's lives, and it's just kind of like, for me, I was just like, I don't want social media to determine my actions or what I do. So
Mhm.
I guess you can consider this social media, but I ended up creating a blog called Cassie's Cure. And literally through that blog I would share like, oh, okay, here's how I felt about, like, growing up going to church, or like, my first heartbreak, or being jealous of my friends, envy, like just really writing down. And people were like, yo, Cass, I'm feeling this, like I've experienced this, like thank you for writing this.
Where did you share that when you did it, when you
um
didn't have no social media?
Here's the thing. So when I first was doing it, I would just text it to my friends, because I was just like, I don't care if no one ever reads this blog. I'm really writing this to get this out. And so
Mm-hmm.
now that's what I do. I journal, I blog. I'm writing this to get this out. So I was writing on WordSpace, and I
Mm-hmm.
still do. I try to do one post a month, which just reminded me I need to probably hurry up and post another.
I'm
Um,
cracking it.
but so yeah, I was just writing it on there. And then when I did get back on social media, people were just like, I love your blogs. They're so amazing. Like, Cassie, this is like, what did you write this for? I'm like, this is something that I've always thought. This is something that I've always struggled with. This is something that I like. This is my life that I'm sharing with y'all. And just whoever clicks the link can read it. Cause at first I was like, it's going to be private. I don't want anyone knowing, cause I don't need no judgment. And then my best friend was like, this is really good stuff. You should share it. And then I was just like, I don't know. I don't want nobody expecting me to write one every week or every month. Like, I'm doing this on my time. When I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I need to pick this laptop up and open up another and write another blog. And so I kind of started sharing it, and like I would see them on Twitter, I would see them on Instagram, people like really sharing my blogs, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm glad that y'all vibe with me, not the me who I thought y'all wanted me to be, like who like the world tried to make me be, or social media. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
some uncut, raw. Cassie's a hot mess, but she's human, and I could kind of relate to her hot mess, and so just
Oh,
really
that's really good.
pretty cool. I'll share my blog with you if you want to read it.
Oh yeah, I can put the link in the description if anybody wants to read it. But yeah, that's so cool. Is there any tips that you would say? I also did social media cleanse. I don't know if I did it for 3 months. I did it for like a month or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I was like, well, I
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of things to do. But is there any tips that you would say for social media? What you can do to like consume your time, or like how not to be on it? Like, did you delete your apps? Did you just
Yeah.
like?
So I deleted my apps for sure. Here's what I tell people, because I know how important social media is. Like, literally, it's a part of work. Like, you know what I mean? People are
Yeah,
like,
that's
hey, it's
crazy.
marketing communications. Like, it's a part of work now. So, but for me, I know during that time I was telling all my close friends. And also too, it was so interesting because I did it right when I moved. So it was funny because right before I left, I had this like big old going away party. Everyone was like, I'm gonna hit you up, I'm gonna call you, like we're gonna be friends for life. You my home girl, I got you, girl. You my day one, A1. And I promise you, like, literally, I probably only talked about like maybe 7 or 8 people from all the friends that I made from undergrad. Like, I have those random friends who hit me up every now and then, but like consecutively, I know those 7 or 8 people have stayed with me these 2 years for grad school. Like, they're the ones who still call and FaceTime, and they'd be like, okay, I know you're far away, but like, distance is nothing in this friendship. So for me, it
Mhm.
also kind of showed me who my real friends were, which was really good, because for me, in undergrad, I trusted everybody. Like, you
Mhm.
could tell me X, Y, and Z, and I wouldn't tell you nothing. But if I told you something, it would get back to me, and people would be like, "You're so fake, you're so messy," and I'm just like, "I thought we were friends. I thought we could share secrets with each other." Like, you know what I mean? Like, but so like having to like realize, okay, Cassie, you only got like 5 friends. Stop trying to go out your circle. Stick to it. But then also now, like getting older, are people still messy? But I change who I surround myself with. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I don't really have as much issues as I did in undergrad. But as far as the social media fast, or any kind of fast, when I tell people like, oh, start off by being like, okay, you know what? If you feel like you just can't give it up, like you're just drastically addicted, like social media is life, like start off by being like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna stay off social media every day except for Saturday. Saturday day will be my one day where I can just be on social media all day long. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna stay off throughout the week and I can get on the weekends. You know what I mean? Start off by giving yourself like maybe those couple of days off. You know what I mean? If you can't go cold turkey, um, I'm not gonna say I'm a thug, but like typically when I try to challenge myself to do something, I'm good at going cold turkey on things.
Yes.
Like, I'm literally good at being like on December 31st, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do no water for the month of January. I mean, no
No water.
no water,
So.
no soda.
Mhm.
Haven't touched a soda since. Now I've had my friend, I texted her like 3 times. I was like, girl, I really wish I had a soda, but like I said I'm not gonna do it, so I'm not gonna do it. So I'll find substitutes every time I'm craving a soda. If I don't drink water, I'm like, okay, give me a pink lemonade. Like I need to find like some type of juice that's gonna stop this urge of me for having soda. So really, or my friend, she was like, Cass, I don't know if I could do it with you. And I was like, how about you only drink soda on the weekends, but you try to make it through the week? You know what I mean? Like really finding what can help you get to that challenge till you could build up that momentum of where you can go a whole month without something or a whole 2 months without something. And then also too, like I said, journaling, that really helped me. I remember when I first started my no social media challenge, everything that I wanted to tweet, I would just text it to my best friend. And she'd be like, what is this? I'm like, oh, that would have been a tweet. And she would just be laughing at me. And she would just be like, okay. And I was like, and you're going to get this because this is going to help me stay off Twitter. And surely, eventually I would stop sending those to her. But like she knew what it was when she would get those random messages. And then also we would also dissect that tweet, and then like, you know, we'd have conversation off of it or whatever the case may be. So really it's just kind of like discipline. How much discipline do you have? And I feel like I've gained a lot more self-discipline. Do I still make mistakes? Do I still mess up? Yes, completely. But I feel like I don't make as many mistakes as I did before I started trying to practice self-discipline in certain areas of my life. So definitely pace yourself, and if you mess up, it's okay, because it's better than not starting at all. You know what I mean? So it's like starting and messing up is different from not starting at all. And then I think if they can go to therapy, counseling, go. Like people feel like you have to be, for lack of better terms, crazy or whatever or whatnot to go to therapy. No, I think you're crazy not to go to therapy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I always said, you got somebody who is on a contract. They cannot go back and run their mouth to nobody unless you're causing harm to yourself or someone else. But like, who's willing to listen and help you process your thoughts and emotions. And people don't do that on a daily, which is why we have so much emotional and mental baggage. You know what I mean? Like, we're skipping that important factor. Mental health runs everything else in your body. You know, like if your mind's off, everything else in your life is going to be off, because you need that. You need to be mentally okay to do anything.
That's true. I definitely
So
agree with
really
that.
just kind of like being honest. And also tell your parents, I know they mean well when they ask you what you're doing, or they trying to tell you like, you need to do da 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 da. That's not encouraging in any way, shape, or form.
Oh
Like,
no.
I tell my mom all the time, like, Mom, I know you want what's best for me, or my brother and my sibling. Well, she doesn't really worry about me. She's like, I know you're gonna be fine, but like when she's like, your brother or your sister, they need to do da da da. I'm like, Mom, I know that you want them to be well off, but the way you're telling them that is the most discouraging thing they're hearing. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they don't feel encouraged in any way, shape, or form, sweetheart. And she's like shocked. And I'm just like, I know it's because, you know, and I feel like in the Black community, we're often told like, you just need to just listen to what your mama say and your daddy say, or like your
And
parents
keep it
don't talk to
moving.
you. They talk to you with like the least amount of respect. But it's like, I'm
They don't
human.
really talk to you. They talk like at you.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm human. I need some type of respect. You know, I need the respect you want me to give you. I'm going to give it to you regardless. But it's just kind of like that their words and stuff. Like, don't let your parents or your family discourage you, because you got to realize we were growing up in two different generations. I promise you, the other day I was teaching my mama how to use the iPhone. She was getting on my last nerve, and I was just like, I'm going to need you to go back to an Android, boo. Like, but like, they don't know. Like, you're mixing two completely generations. You're trying to make them work together. That is a challenge in its own. So really not letting other people's words determine how you feel about yourself. If you are letting people determine how you feel about yourself, we need to address that. Like, why do you want to let other people define you? You should be the one defining you. You know what I mean?
You definitely should.
Right. You should be the one defining you. I listen to podcasts. I love
Yeah,
podcasts.
me too.
I don't. I think it's because I haven't. If I could have listened to podcasts when I was an undergrad, child.
I
But
know if I would have thought about it, but I never
right.
knew really too much about them.
And then I would say like, tailor your social media, like you said, you know, like you watch funny stuff on social media. I'm a big affirmations type of person. Poetry, I love poetry. I just love positivity. I mute folks, I unfollow folks. I mute words, like, because you know Twitter has it to where you can mute certain words. Girl, I'd have muted Cardi B, R. Kelly. I'd have muted all those kind of, because I don't like seeing people talk about it, because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. but I'm not entitled to like
What
their
do you mean?
opinion.
Oh, how do you mute words like you said
Like
Cardi
you can
B?
go to your settings and like you can
Oh,
literally click like create a word that you want to mute, and I put Cardi B, and that
oh,
way Cardi B
why
will never
Cardi
pop up on
B?
my timeline
Ah,
because
I
I
love
had
Cardi
muted
B.
her at that time because everyone was talking about her and what's his name's relationship,
Offset.
and they were like, "She need to leave him. No, she need to stay. No," and I'm just sitting here like, I don't agree with none of y'all, and I'm not gonna force y'all to agree with me. But I was just tired of seeing it on my timeline, so I was just like,
Mm.
let me just go ahead and mute this for a little bit, and I forgot to unmute her, so
Oh,
I'll probably go unmute her because I like her music. I like Cardi B. I do
yes,
like
I
her,
like Cardi
but it was just
B.
at that time, even the R. Kelly situation. I just muted R. Kelly because everyone's voicing their opinions, and I'm like, I don't want
Mhm.
to take your opinion away from you, but I also don't want to see your opinion
Yeah,
be
that's why I
there.
just keep scrolling.
So I'll mute it, and if it's not, eventually, like if I feel like you have enough problematic stuff on your timeline, I'll just unfriend you. And I think it's funny when I go and I see these people in person and they're looking at me like, oh, there she goes, she unfollow me. And I'm like, no, I still like you as a human being, but you just don't fit the aura of my timeline, and you gotta go. Like I can't have you on my timeline. So it's like
I'm cracking
I
up.
really have shaped and molded my timeline to like have more people that speak positive or like prayers or Bible verses or life
Mhm.
positive life mantras or just affirmations. Like my timeline, so it's so nice, it's so sweet. Like everyone on my timeline, I'm like, I love you, or it's nice and sweet, or it's hilarious. I'm
Mhm.
always like busting up laughing, or like that Bird Box challenge. Was the movie a good movie? It was okay, but once you watch the movie, all the memes that come behind it make the movie so much better because like you understand, like it's so much funnier. So I really try to tailor what I see on my timeline by muting and deleting folks. And
Oh, that's
I
smart.
feel
I
like,
never
yeah.
even seen Bird Box. Never seen Bird Box. I would say that like I don't know. Some of like one I did it with my friend one time. She can like have the app on her phone and just like sign out or something like that. And I'm just like, no, like, well, when I used to have stores, you know how iPhones work. I just have to like delete the apps because I'm like, if I see it, like, you know how like you're just sitting down somewhere. So let's say you're at the doctor's office. Now, if I see it, then I'm gonna want to get on it. So I have to just
Mm-hmm.
delete the apps, and I think that's what podcast came for me because I'm like, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? So I just was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm podcasting. That's like, then
Mm-hmm.
I started carrying a journal. And then
Yeah.
I started writing more. So then that's when I was like, okay, this is what I can do to take my time from being on social media, which I don't think I'm addicted to social media. I would say that social media can be addicting to some people, but I think it's also a pastime.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is a great pastime. But once you get sucked into it, you like 9 hours then pass,
Yeah,
and you're
it's
like, oh wait,
pastime.
darn it, I only
Yeah,
needed you for 30 minutes. Like,
literally.
it
Hmm.
definitely is a great pastime for sure. I think
So
like
yeah.
people really have to sit down and like ask themselves these questions, like, what do I want from this platform? Like, what am I feeding myself to? Because like you're soaking, like looking at other people's opinions, it alters your thought process a little bit, possibly if you allow it to. So if your timeline is full of f females, f b words, get money, you gonna start being a little disrespectful to women, probably, because you're gonna think like, like that's okay. So you really gotta you gotta pay attention to what you're looking at and what you're listening to. So that's why I like
I do
podcasts.
believe that. Hmm.
I like the podcast because I love listening to, like, right now my favorite podcast is the Roommates podcast. They're Houston based, and they're just like, they're dope. Like, it's weird because like I listen to their podcast and they're always like, leave comments, share this, da, da, da. And I don't leave not another comment in the world. But like literally, I shout them out and I talk to like all my friends about their podcast. And they're like, do you know these guys? I'm like, kind of. But I'm like, I don't really do the correct participation that I'm supposed to. But I be promoting, like I need to be like their marketing manager or something like that. But like, but just because I love it, it's great content, and I feel like there's no promo like word of mouth. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Hmm.
definitely check out that podcast as well. Like it's really good, and two young black men just being raw and honest, discussing real topics, and
I think I might have heard about them, but I don't think I've
very.
checked it out yet. But I might check it out. I
I
love
dropped it
podcasts.
in the group chat when we was all dropping podcasts in the group chat, so
Oh, I'm
you
cracking
probably
up.
saw it in our group chat. I don't know, but
Oh yeah, but
yeah, people
yeah,
gotta
that's
find
so
their niche. They gotta find their
yeah,
niche.
yeah. So thank you for joining me on this conversation. If you all enjoy this conversation, though, let me know, like in the comments and things like that, because I'm always up for having these like conversations, figuring out like what everybody's doing, and I might do a series if you're like yay to this or nay to this. Let me know, whichever one is cool. But I was like, I decided that I should have a guest to have this conversation because I just feel like it would be weird just talking to myself. And yeah, so this was interesting. So glad. Thank you. Make sure you all go follow Cassie. She will be on the Instagram account, and we're gonna shout us out because we are gonna claim jobs. Okay, 2019
Yes,
and
yes.
graduation. So if anybody else is out there, post grad, send us some questions or like send us your comments. Let us know. If you all are about to get some jobs, are you looking for jobs, or you have any questions, I'm always like open to answer them, do a Q&A or something like that. That would be really cool. Let me know. And don't forget to, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay for the words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Cassie. You have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for
Yes.
having me.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Millennial Thoughts with your girl, Alicia. Today we'll be doing something different. I'm thinking about doing like a series or whatever, but I'll have a guest later on the show, and we're going to have a great conversation. But first, I wanted to shout out the Millennial Mogul, and her name is Chantel. She just started a fitness apparel line called Exodus, and it's for the everyday type of woman going to work out, and you just want to look nice in your clothing and outfits and whatever. And so she has an Instagram, and it's called X Fitness Apparel. So y'all all go follow and look at her clothing. If you like it, purchase some and go support another woman who is going into entrepreneurship in 2019. And yeah, so I'm so excited for her, and I wish her all the success on her journey. And now today we'll be going and transitioning to the topic.